We'll continue on, because I have this mic while I figure out these technical difficulties. Let's start with question 2. Or excuse me, question 3. The day of evil. It's not a day that we often think about. It's described in Amos 5:19 as a person fleeing from a lion only to meet a bear. He then enters his house, what is normally a safe haven, only to lean his hand against the wall, while no doubt taking a sigh of relief, only to be bitten by a snake. This day points to the 721 BC Assyrian onslaught against the northern kingdom. What else does Amos say about this day? And he says to see Amos 1:14, 2:16, 8 verse 9, and then in 8 verse 13, 4 verse 2, 8 verse 11. Oh, he's got a list of them here. 5:18, 20, and 8:10. So I'll give you a chance to look. I don't know, do we have those in a slide, those verses in the slide there, Mark? Okay. Okay, Amos 1:14. There you go. So if somebody would read that while I work on my technical difficulty here. These batteries are really tough to get out. It's like they're glued in or something.
So I will kindle a fire in the wall of Rebah, and it shall devour her stronghold, with shouting on the day of battle, with a tempest in the day of the whirlwind.
Okay. And 2:16.
He who is stout of heart among the mighty shall flee away naked in that day, declares the Lord.
Okay. And 8:9.
Declares the Lord God, I will make the sun go down at noon and darken the earth in blood. In that day the lovely virgins and the young men shall faint for thirst.
The Lord God has sworn by his holiness that, behold, the days are coming upon you, when they shall take you away with hooks, even the last of you with fish hooks.
Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord God, when I will send a famine of water, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. Woe to you who desire the day of the Lord. Why would you have the day of the Lord? It is darkness and not light.
Is not the day of the Lord darkness and not light, and gloom with no brightness in it?
I will turn your feasts into mourning and all your songs into lamentation. I will bring sackcloth on every waist and baldness on every head. I will make it like the morning for an only sun, and the end of it like a clear day.
Amos does a pretty good job of describing. Still on mic?
No, I'm not hearing you.
Okay. I changed the batteries out. It was double A's. It's okay. If you can't hear me, just put your ear up. I'll try to speak a little bit louder. So Amos is describing this day as an evil day. It's also called the day of the Lord. This is the day that everybody in Israel has been looking forward to. It's a day of great blessing and promise. That's what tradition has told us it's supposed to be like. But Amos seems to be talking about some other day. But no. Amos is talking about the day of the Lord. And the famine is how he describes it. It's not a physical famine, but a famine of God's word. That's exactly what's been happening in Israel up to this time. Amos is talking about it, but there are other prophets that have been talked about it since Amos. Isaiah, Micah, they tell us all about what's happening there. And here Amos is prophesying exactly what will happen. When the Assyrian army comes in to Israel. But before they come to Israel, they come in to Aram or Syria, to Damascus. So this is a day that's been coming because, and it's brought about really because Israel, the northern kingdom, has taken it upon themselves. They are vassal states of the king of Assyria. They pay him tribute. They did that, actually, they invited him in at one point in time. And once they invited him in, so to speak, paying him tribute to bring his armies in to help them against the king of Aram, which he does. And then, after attacking Aram, he makes them a vassal state as well, gathering tribute from them. So he has pretty much peace on his southern borders. However, that's not a peace that's going to last because Israel aligns with Aram and says, we have a common enemy. It's Assyria. I'm tired of paying the tribute. It's too much. We're going to overthrow him. We're going to get rid of him. But they need Judah. So they ask Judah, if Judah won't come in, we'll come and take Judah by force so we can have enough soldiers to go fight and get rid of Assyria. That's the whole plot behind all of this that you see when you read into 2 Kings. But this is where we're at. He's brought us to this point. He says, this is what's going to happen. Because that really hasn't all happened yet. Amos is still prophesying to them. But that's what's going to happen. This is where it's going to come down to. And when they do revolt, what does the king of Judah do? King Ahaz of Judah, he sends gold, silver from his own treasuries, gold, silver from the temple of the Lord, and he sends it to the king of Assyria. It says, help me. Basically, inviting him in. And he does. He comes in and he attacks Damascus. He takes Damascus. He kills King Rezin, the king of Aram. Then he comes to Samaria. And once he's into Samaria, he destroys Samaria. They never recover. So this is kind of the history that's happened, but this is the day of the Lord. This is the day of Yahweh. It's a day of battles. A lot of fighting going on. But Judah doesn't see the end. Because you see, King Ahaz dies. He dies and his son takes over. His son is Hezekiah. Hezekiah comes into power about 6 years before the Assyrians are fully done deposing Samaria and taking all of its inhabitants out. I think something like 29,000 are taken out of just the city of Samaria. One of the, I remember correctly now, one of the, he's a commander, I believe, in the, yes, I believe he is a commander in this Assyrian army. He makes a note in his journals that he's taken 29,000 out of that city, just the city of Samaria. So he's taken quite a few people out. They take them away. And how do they take them away? Well, if you want to control people, you want to control, you take them away some kind of blocking mechanisms, I guess you could do it, some kind of jailing. But that's not how they did it in Assyria. Assyria started this. You put a rope around each person's neck, and on the end of the rope, you tie a fish hook. You take that fish hook and you stick it right through your nose. If you ever have a bull on a farm and you can't control the bull, you put a ring in his nose and you can lead him wherever you want. He will not fight you. He will go. Same with all those people. They will not fight you. They will go wherever you lead them. And it's how they led them out. So this is what's kind of happening in here. So it's not the day that Israel or Judah is looking forward to. That's not what it was supposed to be. Any kind of questions on that? That's probably way more than what the answer here that Professor Lessing had put this together, but he would probably like that answer because he's a real history buff on those things. So. absolute solution to the serious problems with Iran and Israel. Because Judah is a vassal state. And for a little while, for about the first 6 years or so of Hezekiah's reign, it'll remain that way. Because you see, Hezekiah's got some things in store for Sennacherib, king of Syria. Let's go on to, there's no other questions. Let's go on to question number 4. It says to read Amos 6:4 to describe the party scene. So, we have 6:4, Mark?
Yep.
Vicky's good. She puts all the slides in there.
Well, about Amos 6:3, 8, 4.
Amos chapter 6, verses 4 to 6. Well, I won't leave you hanging there with what happens with oh, he's got it, okay. Woe to those who lie in their beds of ivory and stretch out for themselves on their couches and eat lambs from the flock and calves from the midst of the stall, who sing idle songs to the sound of the harp, and like David invent for themselves instruments of music, who drink wine in bowls and anoint themselves with the finest of oils, but are not grieved for the ruin of Joseph. We kind of explained what the ivory beds were, status symbols. That Amos tells us in chapter 3 that there are houses of ivory, and then the archaeological excavations in the city of Samaria show truckloads of ivory that are taken out of there. So, kind of gives credit to what Amos says. There are ivory houses. Ivory is pretty expensive, but there's quite a bit of it there. But you see, Amos is telling us something else that's happening here. They're eating meat. Lambs from the flock, calves from the midst of the stall. Meat is not something that's eaten by the everyday common people at this time. We would take it as, yeah, everybody has meat. At this time, to have meat every day, that's almost like a form of gluttony. You pretty much are eating lentils, beans of some sort. It's mostly grains, flour type, something made from grain, barley, cakes of barley, raisins, figs. That's the common vegetables, fruits. Those are basically whatever in season or whatever you can dry and preserve. That's what they have. That's what most people are eating. So to have meat, because animals are expensive, they take a lot of feed to keep alive. And then to go slaughter them, it'd be one thing if you're using them for other produce or for fertilizer, their excrement for fertilizer. That's one thing, but that's not what's really done. They're taking that meat. That's expensive. So it's really costing a lot. So the rich people, the wealthy people have the meat. They have that means to do that. So that's kind of what's happening here. And they are. They're treating themselves like kings. Kings are the ones that can have meat on the table every day. Kings are the ones that can have the finest of meat, the finest of oils, the finest of clothes. Kings are the ones that have the luxury of laying back and letting people play music to them, of inventing musical instruments. That's what David did. He had that luxury. Not all the time, but he did have that time, usually when it was not the season for war, which usually starts in the spring and then ends in the fall. So he has the winter months to do something. So it's the winter months that he's probably singing songs, inventing, whatnot. But this seems to be going on year round. The party doesn't stop. This is a continuous party. And they're drinking heavily. Instead of just drinking cups of wine or even a bowl, they're drinking bottles, big bottles. Wine is coming in 20 to 30 gallon vats into Samaria 7 of those jars lined up. So you have a pot of wine being consumed at these parties. So when he's talking about this, and he says it's kind of like gluttony. Yeah, it really is. Deuteronomy chapter 12, if you were wondering, verses 17 and 18, talks about when the people could actually eat meat at the feasts. It would only be the major feasts. Passover would be one, but there would be just whatever the major feasts are. There's probably 2 to 3 major feasts a year. So that would be the time when folks would have the ability to actually eat meat. Any other question, any other thoughts? Dave?
Could you explain that the ruin of Joseph phrase a little bit there?
Sure. Let's talk about that. Joseph is the one who is taken by his brothers. And, well, let's back up a little bit before that. Joseph is the one who's favored by his father. He's educated by his father. He's given a coat of many colors by his father. He has the favor of his father. He doesn't have to go out into the fields and work. All of his other brothers, they don't have that same favor. They don't have a coat of many colors. They have to go out into the fields every day. They're not educated by their father like Joseph is. Joseph is educated, doing things for like business to help keep the family going, the business of that. In their jealousy, they throw him in a pit. While he's in the pit crying, they're eating a meal. So Joseph has basically gone from father's favor down to nothing. They even go so far to sell him to the Midianites coming out of Gilead on their way to Egypt. And he is sold to them, who in turn sell him to Potiphar. And then Potiphar realizes that he's got some means and everything that he does, God must be with him because it turns out great. So he turns everything over to him, and Potiphar's house is growing and doing well. Until Genesis 39:6 says that Potiphar's wife, basically says Joseph is well built and handsome. So Potiphar's wife has a liking to him. She asks him to come to bed with her, and he says, how can I do such a wicked thing and sin against God? Which leads him into prison. And then he makes a pact with Pharaoh's cupbearer that says, when you get out, remember me and tell him about me so I can get out too. But he doesn't. So from the time that he's sent to prison because of, nothing he did wrong, to the time that he actually gets out, 2 years after the cupbearer has already been out of prison with Pharaoh, and Pharaoh's having these dreams that nobody can interpret. It's only then that they remember Joseph. And Joseph comes out. So Joseph has gone from the top all the way down to the bottom. Well, he's been at the bottom for 23 years. Nobody's listening to him. Nobody's paying attention to him. He's not getting much food. Whatever food you get in the prison, physically, whenever they feel like feeding you, that's when you get food. And it's whatever they feel like giving you. So if that's moldy bread, then that's what you get. So Joseph has gone from kind of top of the family down to the bottom of nothing. It's the ruin of Joseph. So this is what's happened with the poor. The poor are not even looked at. It's kind of like, well, the poor are always with us, so why should we have any care for them? Let's just keep on doing what we're doing. We're fine. When there's a war to be fought, just send the poor out. We're not going. Our sons and daughters won't be involved in any of that. We have the money. We don't need this. We send the poor out. And the poor are devastated by these wars to fight. Food isn't plentiful. They're not getting the nourishment that they need. So the ruin of Joseph is quite appropriate that Amos picks up on that and uses it to kind of shock. It's a bombshell that he uses to shock the elite. To say, look, in fact, he even goes further. Amos takes it a step further and says, he didn't bring concerned about the ruin of Joseph. And guess what? You know what? Not only not his own brothers. So I think he makes a great use of that. And I believe that the elite understood that phrase, the ruin of Joseph. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Good. Any other questions? Mark?
I was thinking that it might be symbolic of the house of Joseph, that is Israel, and their spiritual depravity, and the day of the Lord, will be a day of doom because God will be punishing. And I was wondering maybe if it wasn't that.
It could also be that as combined with that, because the word of God has been withheld. He says that there's a famine. And it's not a famine of bread, it's a famine of God's word. So in other words, my prophets are not speaking to you, you're not looking at the word, you're not studying the word, you're not even coming to the temple to hear the word. So yeah, it's both physical and spiritual. Anything else? Let's move on then. I got a couple of other good ones. Let's look at number 6. It says, at the end of Amos 6:6, in characteristic style, the prophet drops another verbal missile in his attempt to arouse the leaders from their spiritual lethargy. And we've kind of answered this one. It says, who does Joseph stand for? Well, we kind of just answered all that, but Dave's question. Joseph is the poor, the people that have been in Rome, the people that have been used and abused by the elite. It's interesting that he goes to that length to say, it's my own brothers and sisters, your own flesh and blood related to you, which are mistreated. And that's pretty powerful. Any other questions? We kind of took that one with the last one. Dave, would you have another question?
No, I
Okay.
think so.
I was just asking, like, your hand had it up or down, I wasn't sure. That's why I had to ask. No, I wasn't sure. Well, this one, let's go to question 7. This is going to be kind of a little bit of a little bit of a zinger here. It says, today there was a global tragedy of horrific proportions. Today 35,000 people died. All of the victims were children. But worst of all, the disaster will happen again and again and again. Every day, 35,000 poverty-stricken children die of malnutrition and starvation in our world. How would Amos respond to this? And how would he address the lack of education, health services in 2/3 of the world, the AIDS crisis, unjust laws, slavery, corrupt governments, child prostitution, or countless other ethical issues facing today's world? That's a loaded question. Get a taste of an Amos. How do you respond? I think he's going to say something. I think he's going to speak out. I think he's got some words to say. Something more than just letting 35,000 a day die. I think he's going to really come out and say, this is the duty of the church. That's what Amos would say. This is the duty of all of God's people to reach out, to do something about that. It's more than just a word, sacrament, ministry. It's a ministry of reaching out. It's a ministry of helping those folks. Helping people. I don't think Amos would. For Amos, I don't think it's a moral issue. I think it's an issue of preaching God's word, letting God's word be death or slavery or unjust laws, corrupt governments, there's still hope. The hope that they can have for all those that believe in Jesus Christ. The hope that there is a heaven, where there is no more starvation, where there are no more diseases, where there are no more tears, where there is no more suffering. I think this is the hope that Amos would be bringing forward. He would be talking about a promised Messiah, but we already know the Messiah. So Amos, I think, would have, as he railed against Uzziah, who was king, as he railed against all the kings of Israel, I think he would, even today, be railing against not only governments, representatives, but even the church, say, shame on you, you've allowed this to happen. You've allowed these other false idolatry to come in, which is exactly what he was talking about in his day, and we see around us today. So I think Amos would have some pretty powerful words. I'm not sure what kind of acronyms he'd use. He'd probably have something about us. No. You sit on your couches over there and watch football, or he'd have something. I just don't know how he would go about that, but I'm sure he would latch on to something. Any other thoughts or comments on what Amos might say about that? Okay. Well, I guess if we're at that point, then I think we're better time. Yeah, we've gone a long